Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Listen with Stories. Before we begin, take a slow breath in and let it go. You are here. You are listening, and that is enough. Today's story is about a man who lost everything. A man who built something beautiful, then watched it taken away. A man who came back and changed the world forever. This is the real story of Steve Jobs. And if you are learning English right now, this story is also for you. If you enjoy stories like this, please subscribe to Listen with Stories. New stories arrive every week. Stories that teach, stories that move you, stories that stay with you. Let us begin. The boy who did not belong. Steve Jobs is born in February 1955 in San Francisco, California. But from the very first day of his life, he does not belong. His mother is a young graduate student. She is not ready. She makes a painful choice. She gives her baby away. A couple in California, Paul and Clara Jobs, they take him in. They name him Stephen. Steve grows up in a quiet suburb. The streets are wide. The houses are small. The neighbors build things in their garages. And Steve watches. He is curious, deeply curious. His father, Paul, works with his hands. Metal, wood, cars. He teaches Steve that the back of something matters as much as the front, even if no one sees it. Steve carries that lesson his whole life. But school is hard. Steve is bored. He is restless. He does not fit the normal shape of a student. He asks too many questions. He challenges his teachers. He disrupts the class. One teacher bribes him with candy and money just to keep him focused. It works, because Steve is not broken. He is just different. The college that changed nothing and everything. Steve goes to Reed College in Oregon. But after 6 months, he drops out, not because he fails, but because he cannot bear spending his parents' money on something that feels wrong. He has no plan. He sleeps on floors. He returns Coca-Cola bottles for small coins. He walks across town for free meals at a local temple. He is poor, directionless, uncertain. But something strange happens in the emptiness. He starts taking classes he loves, just for himself. One class changes everything. Calligraphy, the art of beautiful letters, beautiful spacing, beautiful design. He studies it with joy, with passion, with no practical reason. Years later, that calligraphy becomes the beautiful fonts inside the first Macintosh computer. He later says, "You cannot connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backward. Trust the dots, the garage, the dream, the beginning." Steve returns home. He meets a quiet genius named Steve Wozniak. Together, in a small garage, they build something. A personal computer. Something only universities and governments own in 1975. They call their company Apple. It begins with nothing. No office, no investors, no certainty. Steve sells his Volkswagen van. Wozniak sells his calculator. They have just enough. And Apple grows. Slowly, then quickly, then enormously. The Macintosh computer launches in 1984. People cry watching the advertisement. It is not just a product. It is a revolution. Steve Jobs is on the cover of magazines. He is young, powerful, electric. The world is watching. The fall. But success brings problems. Steve is difficult, brilliant, but difficult. He pushes people hard. He demands perfection. He makes enemies. The Apple board grows frustrated. In 1985, they fire him. The company he built, the dream he started in a garage, the thing he gave his life to, gone. Steve is 30 years old. He later describes it like this: I felt like I had let the previous generation of entrepreneurs down. I had failed. Publicly, he is devastated. He walks through San Francisco without direction. He thinks about leaving technology forever. But something quiet inside him says, stay, create. The wilderness years. Steve does not disappear. He starts a new company. Next, he buys a small animation studio and transforms it. That studio becomes Pixar, Toy Story, Finding Nemo, The Incredibles. Stories that make millions of people feel something real. Steve also falls in love. He marries Laureen. They build a family, a quiet life, alongside the chaos of work. These years are hard. Next struggles. The money runs thin. But Steve is learning something important. He is learning who he really is. Not just a businessman, an artist, a storyteller, a person who believes that technology should feel like poetry. The return. In 1997, Apple is almost dead. The company is losing money. The products are confused. The world has moved on. Apple buys Next, and Steve Jobs walks back through the door. He looks at everything Apple has become, and he says, simplify. He cuts products. He rebuilds the team. He creates something new. In 2001, the iPod. In 2003, iTunes. In 2007, the iPhone. The world changes. Not slowly, all at once. The phone in your pocket right now. That story begins with a man who was fired. My friend, you are learning English. And some days it feels impossible. Some days you cannot find the words. Some days you feel lost. Like Steve, walking through San Francisco with nothing. But remember, Steve studied calligraphy with no plan, and it became something beautiful years later. Every word you learn today, even if you forget it tomorrow, it is a dot, and one day you will look back and see how the dots connect. Keep going, quietly, faithfully. Every single Steve Jobs dies in October 2011. He is 56 years old. Too soon. But his last great lesson stays with us. He said, remembering that you are going to die is the best way to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose. You have nothing to lose, only something to build. Thank you for listening with me today, my friend. Tell me in the comments below what surprised you most about Steve's story. And if you want part 2, his final years, his illness, and his last words, write, I want part 2 in the comments. I read every one. See you in the next story.